is Jets at Noon with Cameron Poitras and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
Monday. Welcome to Jets at Noon. Monday.
We'll sell you the whole seat. You'll only need the edge.
Monday, brother.
It's Monday, brother. And what happens on Mondays? People get their ass kicked. I don't know. Monday's a wrestling night, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's Raw or SmackDown. I think SmackDown's Thursday. Is it still
SmackDown.
Raw? Is it still Raw on Mondays?
There's a show called SmackDown.
Yeah, we should change it to SmackDown.
Jets at Noon, SmackDown Thursday.
Is Raw still on Monday? It currently airs every Monday, yeah.
Every Monday.
Yep.
Hence the name, Monday Night Raw.
That makes sense.
Genius marketing. We moved Monday Night Raw till Tuesday, and we'll still call it Monday.
We've just abandoned Monday Night Raw, and now we're just doing Thursday Night SmackDown.
Monday.
How's your weekend, Jim?
It was all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was it?
It's no Beer Fest, which is this coming weekend.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's
Flatlanders.
True. Yeah.
You go to Beer Fest ever?
My days are over. Jim, my days are over.
Yeah.
My days of fun and frolicking have long passed.
I actually, this is what you have to look forward to. I actually asked for permission if I could go this coming weekend.
Well, welcome to my life.
Can I go to the Beer Fest this weekend?
I have to go.
I was told, because it's the afternoon when we go
yeah.
to, and I was told, are you going to go to the afternoon Beer Fest and come home at 3 a.m.? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know where the day takes us.
Yeah.
And then I was told, I'll talk to you outside.
That's what happens when you...
said, you don't have to talk to me outside. I won't go.
That's what happens when you cage a lion. Ferocity.
That's what happens. See, if you go to Beer Fest in the afternoon, don't come home till 3 a.m., that's exactly what happened, Cam. It's because you unleashed a caged lion and ferocious consumption takes place. But if that lion got to graze once a week, once every 2 weeks,
it wouldn't have to gorge itself.
He'd be more than happy to come home after the afternoon Beer Fest. But when you unleash a caged lion, ferociousness takes place.
You starve that lion. You haven't given him anything to eat.
Exactly.
As you know, in the words of Randy from Trailer Park Boys, man's got to eat.
Man's got to eat, Smokey.
That's right. Come on, Smokey.
Anyway, I hope everybody had a good weekend. I hope you have a good Monday, and I hope you're taking the Flatlanders Beer Festival. It's one of the greatest events this coming weekend.
Jets at Noon is brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road. VIP take on the text line and win a VIP car wash from my good friends at Wash Method. 204-780-6868. We'll announce the winner later in the program, coming at you live from the Boston Pizza Studio. Try the new Triple Pep Pizza only.
Triple Pep!
At Boston Pizza.
By the way, the Boston Pizza down at City Place is a great way to, when you walk out of the Beer Fest, just go grab a bite.
You just wander on in. You saunter on in.
May I have a triple pep, please?
Yeah, triple pep and a
Nachos.
schooner of your coldest imbibement. So on Mondays now, because Free For All Friday, we get inundated with text messages. We cannot get to all of them. And of course, on Free For All Friday, calls take priority. If you call in the show, you're getting on the show.
Yes.
Right. If you get in on time, of course, sometimes we have to turn the line, we take as many calls as we possibly can. And if you send us a text, most of the time, you get lost in the shuffle. Now, there's a lot of great comments on there. Now, I always read them, but we just can't get to all of them, right? And so that's why we're doing Free For All Fallout, the Monday Reheat.
Yes.
This is the new
Monday Reheat.
The Monday Reheat is the new thing we're doing.
Some leftovers. We're going to warm it up.
Hey, sometimes leftovers are better than the original meal. Yeah. Yeah, leftovers I love leftovers.
I like leftovers.
When I open my fridge and there's leftovers, I'm happy.
Especially meat or something,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
With today's prices, you got to get more than one meal out of it.
Right. If you're just eating once, then you're in trouble here. So we're going to go back. Hey, still send us a text message, 204-780-6868, 204-780-6868. Of course, we're still taking text messages. We're taking it all through the day. Jamie Thomas is going to be joining us. Happy to have him back on the show, 12:30. Jets team host and reporter. We're going to mull about some ideas about the offseason, what could come over the next couple of weeks. And we look towards September when training camp gets started again here, as we are officially in the offseason. So excited to have Jamie Thomas back on the program. But let's get to some text messages. Daryl said this: Jonathan Toews, a Winnipeg Jet? ? Could it be? And also, does that fit with Nikolaj Ehlers? It looks like he wants out of Peg City. I mean, is this a situation? So what I think Daryl is saying there, and I think I got it right, is if Nikolaj Ehlers does stay, I mean, I think you can have both. I don't think you need to have Ehlers. Like if you have Toews, you can't keep Ehlers, or if you have Ehlers, you can't make a play to get somebody like Jonathan Toews. I don't think it's one or the other.
And one thing came up on the weekend. Somebody asked me if Kyle Connor gets an extension July 1st or beyond, that doesn't come into play until the following season. Now you do have to manage that, right? Like you can't just lock these guys all up and just go. But so the year after you have to follow that and make sure that fits. But it doesn't kick in till then. So. Jonathan Toews, the one thing I don't know about much and much not being said is what he's looking for. Like, is it a 1-year deal?
Yeah.
If it's a 1-year deal, Kyle's extension, you could give him that extra $2 to $3 million he's going to get following next season. Does he want a 2-year deal? Does he want? I would assume it's a 1-year deal, right?
Yeah.
It's a 1-year deal, see how it goes, and then I'll decide. I would imagine he's at that stage of his career, much like Corey Perry. I'll decide year to year if I keep playing.
Toews has nothing left to prove.
No,
he really doesn't. I mean, if he comes back and is at very least a competent National Hockey League player, that is remarkable as far as I'm concerned. Like that's an epic comeback. I wouldn't think it's like Tiger Woods winning the Masters or anything like that, or getting close on the PGA championship. But if he comes back and wins a cup with the Jets, which you never know is going to happen. But
the thing he's proving is to himself.
Yeah.
It's not like if he comes in and scores 10 goals and has 17 points and only plays 48 games, people might go, well, this was a bust. Look, nothing about Jonathan Toews will ever be a bust. I said last week, if he comes in, he will know within 2 weeks. And Jonathan Toews, if he can't keep up or doesn't have it or can't contribute, he himself probably will pull the pin and go, thanks, but I'm retiring. But I think this is to himself, right? People forget how this ended. And how it ended was COVID. Like he found out that he has something that, his immune system. And I don't think if COVID came out that he would, maybe it would, I don't know. I don't know the science of it. I shouldn't speak medically, but it's all related around the pandemic and how he discovered that he had something that prevented him and his immune system from. And so this is a way of getting back to doing it. But I imagine no one wants to see it end that way, right?
No.
Like this isn't a journeyman who eked out 7 years and would like to get to 500 games or something like that. This is a guy that has nothing to prove except to himself that it ended horrifically.
That can be the biggest motivation.
If he had a broken back and couldn't come back, if he had destroyed his knee and despite surgeries couldn't get it done, it's a different way to walk away. But to have it just sort of told that you have something and you can't, I think of Marian Hossa and that skin disease that he got that he couldn't, don equipment anymore. And it's something he has to manage the rest of his life. You want to write your own chapter. And I don't blame him for this. A lot of people think these comebacks are like, oh, it's garbage and guys just can't move on and all this. Guys are going to move on. It's how you move on. No one's under the belief that you're going to play till you're 60, but you would like to say, I went out on my own terms if you can at all possible. So
I respect him entirely if he comes back. But again, if he ends up playing 40 games and he goes, I just can't do this. Well, then there's nothing lost. But like to go out.
Some people say it's a bust. Some people say this. I'm like, no, it's not. It's probably the most cherished 40 games in a Hall of Fame career.
That's a great point.
Because you're like, hey, I get to do this again.
Dan texted the show and said, Toews is a first ballot Hall of Famer, captain of 3 Stanley Cup winning teams, absolute winner. He isn't going to even consider a comeback unless he knows he can play. How often do the Jets have a chance to get a player like that, regardless of his age? If he is willing to sign in Winnipeg, you sign him right away. I don't understand the hesitation among some people about this.
There is some validity to that. I think we're overthinking this and over talking about it. There's a guy who won 3 cups and is one of the greatest leaders that we've seen on the ice, and he wants to see if he can get another year or 2.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be more difficult than that. Now, Are you bringing him in to be what with this? We're all talking about where he'll play and how much and all this. Let's just give him a deal and see what he can do.
If he wants to come to Winnipeg and the Jets want him, I think they do. Pretty certain that they do, and they can make something work. There's, again, it's like we talk about, like, Jonathan Toews has nothing to prove, and he has everything to gain. The Jets in this contract, as far as I'm concerned, if Jonathan Toews wants to come back, they have everything to gain. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You don't lose anything.
Without Adam Lowry, and not because of captain. Like, I had an email today when I was on the start and talking about Toews with Macklin and McGarry, and somebody sent me in and said, well, Captain's serious and bring him into this room and how it'll fit and blah, blah, blah. I go, he's not coming in to be a leader. He's not coming into – that's all going to be valuable. He's going to come in and he's going to know some things and see some things that's going to help this team. But I don't see him standing up in the room and saying, this and that and making big speeches. What I do see is Adam Lowry is out for 10 to 25 games this year and maybe more. And I see him, I mean, if you need a third line center to come in for Adam Lowry, I can think of a lot worse ones than Jonathan Toews.
Let's take a break. Let's come back. On the other side, we have another Dan who drops a text message on us. He's got an idea for the first round playoffs. We'll discuss that. Jamie Thomas with us after 12:30. Lots to get to still here on a free-for-all Fallout Monday reheat. Don't go anywhere.
You want some more reheat? I'll wait.
At noon with Cameron Poitras and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
Call the Boston Pizza Jets at noon hotline, open 24/7, 204-780-6800. Dig into the new Triple Pep Pizza and Double Trouble Nachos, available now only at Boston Pizza. Number one caller into that line is going to win a $50 gift certificate to Boston Pizza on Friday, just like Warren, who is our winner from last week. Dan texts the show, Jim, and he says, first round playoffs, best of 5. But more importantly, what about the league changing the format for the games for the playoffs? Why aren't overtime settled 3-on-3? I'll be okay with going sudden death 20 minutes. No 5-minute time limit, but full 5-on-5 overtimes are ridiculous considering the regular season format. What do you think, Jim? First round playoffs, first best of 5.
I don't know. I watched the 5-game series in Major League Baseball, and it just leaves me wanting.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I say that because baseball is, you have so many teams, you can't go best of 7s. I think you can, right?
At the most, it would be another 3 days. Who cares if you just drag it into November for a little bit? The weather's fine in most states by that time.
I think the 7-game series are perfect. Yeah. I really do. I wouldn't mess with the number of games in a series.
3-on-3
I would
real
look
quick.
at format and all that.
3-on-3 real quick. Yes or no, and play out in the overtime.
No.
We'll be right back. Jamie Thomas with us after this. Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road. VIP take on the text line. Win a VIP car wash from my good friends at Wash Method, 204-780-6868. We'll announce the winner later in the program. We're coming at you live from the Boston Pizza Studio. Try the new Triple Pep Pizza only at Boston Pizza. We'll have more free-for-all Fallout Monday reheats as the show goes on here. But happy to have Jets team host and reporter Jamie Thomas on the show. Hello, Jamie. How are you?
Are you less mad now than you were in the first round there, Cam, or are you okay?
What do you mean?
You were pretty angry in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs for the Winnipeg Jets.
I was pretty angry. Yeah. Yes, I was.
He was.
I just want to make sure you're okay.
I am okay. I was very angry. I'm not. What are you referring to?
I don't know. I just like many things. I was just worried about you. So
it's wild.
This is what anger management does for you. Yes, I'm fine now. Yeah. I am less angry.
The thing is that I got this mic, and unfortunately, some things come out of my mouth that I can't control. It's the anger taste, like the Hulk. I do remind you of the Hulk, though, don't I?
Yeah,
I have Hulkish features.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. You're ripped.
I am.
Under that facade, and you don't turn green. That's the only thing.
No, that's the only thing. That's the only thing going against me. So, I mean, looking at the offseason here for the Jets, what do you got first on your list?
Oh dear, it's a pretty interesting time ahead for them, right? I mean, you do have to figure out what direction you're going to go with Nikolaj Ehlers, right? And I think Kevin Cheveldayoff addressed that, the fact that he said they had been in contact with Ehlers' agent, the day before their final media availability, and the offer is going to be out there for him to be a Jet for life. But I also think we have to be realistic too, because what he's going to command and what's in front of them, right? You have to take care of Kyle Connor next year, and Dylan Sandberg's also of importance, and so is Gabe Vilardi too. But Nikolaj Ehlers to me is to figure out what direction that's going to go, and then you start ticking off boxes after that.
So what is a lifelong offer from the Jets standpoint in your mind for Nikolaj Ehlers?
Well, I think you're thinking 7 years, right? And then I think, guys, to me, he's an $8 million. He's going to command probably $8 million a year, is my guess. So I don't know where the Jets lie in that department, but with his game-breaking abilities and stuff like that, and 30-goal scorers just don't grow on trees. So I think that's the amount of money. But how does that fit into the structure of what you're trying to do? And 7 years, eight per season to me sounds about what that would look like, at least to me.
Yeah.
So I'm reading. It could be 9.
Yeah, that's what James Myrtle on The Athletic said on the show last week. He said it could be around 9 just based on supply and demand, and there not being those guys available that what Nikolaj Ehlers can do.
Exactly. And so and then Nikolaj has to decide on, from his perspective, because his time on ice isn't going to change if he stays with Winnipeg. And I like the way Winnipeg uses him. You got first power play minutes, which I think, clearly from a consistent basis, first time in his career for that. And I thought he handled it quite well and was an instrumental part of what they did, being the number one power play in the National Hockey League, certainly during the regular season. So, but there's that other part of it too. You can't play him on the top line because of, I don't want to, just sometimes the turnovers play a large role in that, right? He's boom or bust sometimes. When he has the puck in the stick, he makes, when he makes mistakes, they're very glaring, but when he doesn't and it works, it's outstanding, right? So that's that boom or bust thing with him. And it's not a rip on him. It's just the type of player that he is. He's a tremendous bring fans out of your seat type player. He is a great guy. He has been loyal to this organization. They, like Chevy said, they drafted him, they groomed him. He is a Jet, right? So it's if you're going into the $9 million per season, that's where it gets tricky. That's where the ask is. Yeah. And then it's also, like I said, the command for more minutes and more opportunities, and there will be, listen, let's not kid ourselves. The opportunity to have more ice time is always out there somewhere else. That's just the way the world works. So it's just all up to him and then where the Jets want to go. So I respect Kevin Cheveldayoff for saying that the offer is going to be out there. And I also respect him for saying that if it doesn't work out, we'll move on. We have other plans, right? So that's what smart teams do. He's an extremely popular player within the organization, with the fan base. So it's a tough one, right? It is challenging to say the least, but I mean, both parties have to be agreeing with how this is going to look like. Yeah,
and if he's going to go off and search a top line opportunity, just like you said, Jamie, I don't disparage that at all. And you're right about him on the first line. I mean, it was always like, it's so simple. Put Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, and Nikolaj Ehlers together. Well, Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele play in a offensive zone. They want to go into the offensive zone, and then they want to control the puck. They want to increase the amount of time in there, wait for an opportunity, wait for one of them to disappear, and then essentially spring the trap. That's what those guys do. That's their MO offensively, and they're very successful about it. Nikolaj Ehlers is in and out, rush chance, back out. And they just never fit together. And that's okay. That's not a slight against everybody. I mean, you can't just, you have to accept people for who they are at some point, right? You have to accept their faults. And listen, Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele are not perfect players either, but you can't try to fit a round peg in a round hole. Square hole. You know what I'm trying to say here, right?
I know exactly what you're saying. And here's the thing too. It's just you have the perfect complement to Connor and Scheifele and Gabe Vilardi. You have a guy that will go to the front of the net, that guy that is very good along the wall. And to your point about Ehlers, it's just like it doesn't work. And it's not like they haven't tried it. They've tried it numerous times. And yes, sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't. But obviously there is a consistent basis that works because of the amount of time that Vilardi, Connor, and Scheifele spent together this season, because you can't break it up if it keeps working just to try and give Nikolaj Ehlers more time or more opportunities. The opportunities are there with the first power play. So it's up to him and his agent what they want to do in that aspect. If more opportunities on the top line is important to him, then that's what unrestricted free agency is all about. You've served your term, you've earned the opportunity to have the chance to look elsewhere, and it has nothing to do with loyalty. It has nothing to do with that. It's just what is the best fit for you. And I think that's what everybody has to keep in mind as this rolls along, as we go along through June and into July.
Yeah, you have to accept people for their weaknesses and praise them and support them in their strengths. That's what I'm trying to say. Jim, go ahead.
Yeah. Assuming, I think we all do, that Vilardi and Samberg get taken care of, what's next after Ehlers? What is the big? Is it trying to make a trade or make something happen at that second C spot?
Oh, geez. When I had Mark Chipman on the podcast, since Brian Little, unforeseen retirement or departure from the game, the Jets have consistently been trying to find a number 2 center, and they haven't done it. They've had it for stretches, obviously with Paul Stastny, and I can go down the list of guys that have been brought in at the trade deadline: Sean Monahan, Kevin Hayes. That search kind of begins, but what does that look like? What is out there, right? So it's just. I don't know. I think you take care of your own business and then figure out what you're going to do with that, because you showed with Vladislav Nemestikov that you can have somebody there that is consistent in that department, is comfortable with Cole Perfetti. But what is the other side if Nikolaj Ehlers isn't here? So, I think you look at what works, or what you take care of your own people first and then go on from there. That's what that looks like to me. But Dylan Samberg and Gabe Vilardi become priorities after that, but they are under team control too, so there's no panic in the whole sense of things too. So I don't mind the idea of going to try and find a trade for a second centerman, but gosh, you hope at some point that you can find it, because it has been the longest and that goes to show you how hard it is to find them and to keep them, or trade for them and get them to stick around as well. So it's just not as easy as saying, hey, we want this, and which is what they were looking for at the trade deadline. But Brock Nelson, to me, was the only guy that was of value for a centerman at the trade deadline. But that's to me, you just got to take care of your guys and then figure out what that's going to look like. But I have full trust in what the brain trust has in store, and we'll have to see what that looks like.
I was going to say, I think this is becoming annoying to Cheveldayoff too. I like the fact that he goes, a lot of people go, Nemestikov is the answer. I don't think that was the answer, and I think he did really good there for who he is.
Serviceable.
But I think every year, it's Kevin trying to do some things, get some guys, and then when it doesn't work out, he goes, okay, well, here's, you have 3 plans, plan A, B, and C, and it just seems like, I bet you he's getting tired of always going with plan C maybe.
Well, I think, and this is where another thing too, guys, is Brad Lambert has to figure something out here soon. What happened last year to me, considering how he showed, I'll go all the way back to Penticton for the rookies showcase. I will go through training camp. The way he showed in those situations, I'm okay, maybe he's ready. But obviously with the output point-wise and the stretches of not scoring, says otherwise. So, he has a big off season in front of him. He could have made things easier on management if he would have taken another step forward this year. But now there's that, like you just said, Jim, it's just it's the frustration of trying. You've drafted some players. You think that eventually they're going to fit in, but that hasn't materialized yet. So there's got to be some frustration. And I'm only saying this from an outsider perspective. Kevin Cheveldayoff never told me this, but you can't tell me you draft this kid in the first round, you're hoping, and after what he showed in training camp this year, that maybe he was ready, but he clearly showed over a consistent season that he's not. And again, as I just said a little while ago, it's a big off season for Brad Lambert and what decision where he wants to go, because it looks like there's an opportunity unless the Jets decide that they have to trade for something to fill a hole.
We talked about that on Friday, Cam. Like, there's nobody blocked in this organization. Like, there's a misnomer out there in some Jets fans. It's on the player to make the like. Mark Morrison joined us last week and said Terrell Bauer's already on the ice at the Hockey for All Center working on his stick handling because that's what he needs to work on.
Right.
It's up to the players to make the difference.
Yes.
It's not come to camp, you're a high draft pick and take it over. Be better than somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we hate you because this is what, and then we're going to block you from any type of. No, the whole idea of draft and develop is we'll show you the door, and I'm using a term from the Matrix. We'll show you the door. You have to walk through it. And that's really what the whole idea of what organizational depth is, and the whole idea of drafting players and hoping they materialize into what you had plans for when you drafted them. So by no means, sometimes it looks like it, but nobody in any organization wants somebody to stay in the American Hockey League their whole time. That's not the idea. The idea is to develop and get up to the National Hockey League so you don't have to trade for something or you have to give up something to get something else when you thought you had it when you drafted it. So I feel for people that feel that organizations have something out for somebody. It's because that player hasn't lived up to the expectations or the opportunities that have been given to them. And sometimes that window's open for, a couple of weeks, and sometimes it's open for a couple of years. But when that window opens, you have to take advantage of it, or have proven when the window opens that you can walk through the door and take that chance.
Yeah, Mark Morrison said very, very similar things. He said, like, in terms of Nikita Chibrikov and Brad Lambert, if there's going to be that spot open at training camp on the second line, it's going to be up to who comes into camp the most prepared and ready to take that spot. He wouldn't pick one or the other, and he wouldn't do that. That's not his style. Then speaking about guys like Parker Ford and Elias Solomonson, he's like, these guys are going to have impact, and if they continue on their trajectory, they're going to be playing for the Winnipeg Jets to whatever capacity next year. Jamie Thomas, Jets team host and reporter. Jamie, thanks so much. Take care, okay?
All right, boys, enjoy your day. And Cam, I'm glad you're feeling better. It's very important to me that you're okay.
Yeah. I mean, it just, Jamie, I just saw you down in the guts of Canada Life Center, and I just see it's just your face. I don't know what it is. It just it ticks me off.
Serenity now.
If I can just avoid you for the next 6 months, Jamie, I'll be happy. Okay, take care.
Okay, buddy.
See you later. Bye. See ya. Bye.
Bye. Take care, JT.
Yeah. Let's take a break. Let's come back. Let's get to some more Monday leftovers from a little bit more free for all fallout.
Some reheats
on the other side. Gotta take. One texter wants to talk about a guy out in Russia that could have an impact on the Winnipeg Jets, and a hot take on the Whiteout. I'll leave it at that. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road. Our VIP text. That's winning the VIP car wash from our good friends at Wash Method. It comes from Alex. He says, "Dear Jim and Cam, I'm currently obsessed with the thought of bringing in former Jets draft pick Dmitry Reshevsky. I spent some time watching his highlights over the weekend, and his explosive style of hockey is exciting to watch. He's 157 points in just over 250 games in the K. Well-liked, utilized player for Moscow Dynamo. He has not signed an extension in the KHL yet, even though Moscow sent him an offer. What are your thoughts about Reshevsky and what he could bring to the Jets, maybe in Appleton's place? He's played all year with ex-Jet Eric Odell." Cheveldayoff did mention something about him at the tail end of his year-end availability, right? That they were talking with him and they were staying in conversation. But I'm not sure you could say much more than that. I think a team and an organization that's constantly looking to increase its depth, if there's an opportunity to bring in a player like this, I don't think you can say no, right? What that deal looks like, I have no idea.
I think they're going to try and sign him.
Yeah,
and bring him over. The more the merrier. If he wants to come play for the Moose. The problem is, do you want to play for the Moose and make a go of it, or do you want to make big money in the K, right?
Yeah.
So, but I think they're exploring all options. Kevin Cheveldayoff always, and the brass, always pulls something out of somewhere. But I think their focus is, to me, it's the big Ehlers thing. I think they make Ehlers an offer. I don't think it's close to what he could get on the open market, and I think it's up to him to decide. And if he makes that decision to go, I understand it. And if he decides to stay, I think it really speaks to how much he believes and wants to be here. Not that he doesn't if he's like, if we're talking $7 million, I'm sorry, I don't offer more than $7 million.
No. Mr. Chance.
And if 9 is out there, I don't do that.
No, you don't do 9.
And I don't blame Nick for taking the 9.
No, he should take the 9, but that's not the right move for the Jets. Mr. Chance to get your thoughts on the show today. Call the Boston Pizza Jets at noon hotline, open 24/7, 204-780-6800. Digging to the new Triple Pep Pizza and Double Trouble Nachos, available now only at Boston Pizza. Mark texts the show in our final little taste of the Monday reheat. Mark says, I think they should get rid of the whiteout. I think it's a jinx on the team. During the regular season, the Jets were terrific at home without it. They were pretty good at home with it. This playoffs, Jim, am I not mistaken there? I think we should skip. I think we should skip it next season if we make the playoffs and see if they're better without it. Mark, I do not believe in jinxes. I definitely don't believe in this jinx.
They did not lose a home game during the whiteout.
Well, they lost one against Dallas.
No, I was going to say in the first round. And in the second round, they lost the first one against Dallas. The rest of the time, they got shutouts.
They had 2 shutouts, in game 2 and game 5.
So I don't think it's why. And you know how I'm sorry, I know a lot of fans do, and that's fine. I don't believe in jinxes. I don't believe in.
And it certainly has nothing to
do
with
shutout in the third period, and a goalie hears you on the ice and goes, "Who said shutout?" And
it certainly doesn't have anything to do with fans dressing in white and being very excited and having parties on the street outside.
If anything, I think it helps them.
Yeah.
I don't think it helps them win a game, but I think the players love it.
Well, I'll just listen to how they talk. If they were able to pull that game out in game 6 in overtime, they were like, we have no doubt in our mind we were going to win game 7. Thank you very much, Jeffrey Fortier, for producing the show. Jim Toth to take you all the way until 2 o'clock. That's it for me. Back same time tomorrow. See ya.